Good morning. It's Monday morning. Hey, well, I was busy over the weekend. Got 5 pages up and recorded it all. So I'm going to show the recording today with commentary by me. I'll mute everything in that I've got in these little QuickTime things. So I'm starting off today showing a little um, overview of the book, which I never really do, so I should probably do that. So it lasts a little while, so I'll get started and just show you what's going on here. So here's the first page, which hard to remember when I did it, but I did it last. No, I did it in the spring. I redid all a bunch of pages in the spring. I did this is a redo page and everything like that. And I've actually redone this parts of this page. I'm going to post that soon, but it's still the same page. But this is where my Charlie Schultz thing starts coming obvious. There's a third and fourth page where I get a little bit into tenebrism, theatrical lighting at the bottom, and then I introduce the twins, who are everybody loves the twins, except of course the Peabody gang. Blue Boy calls them the Cornflower Gang. They're three cousins that have names like flowers, but they're not a bed of roses. And then it talks about all the gossiping and everything like that. And then we talk about Grandpa and his background, which is where all this stuff comes from. How he was in the Civil War and in the Battle of Gettysburg. Yeah, I think I increased the size of this a little bit so you could see it. And then this, which then I had to reduce the size of that. A little bit of Civil War mayhem, people killing each other. That's the Civil War for you. Probably should watch those little words that you use. YouTube is crazy about strange words that their algorithms pick up and then they kick you off. So you have to watch out. Big Brother's here. And then I get to start drawing horses, which is a lot of fun. A lot of fun to draw horses. And Grandpa, Grandpa was felt real bad about that first guy, but then the second guy he didn't give a twit about. And then so he just runs and runs and runs. And he has to go for a long way from Pennsylvania to Illinois. But that's where they were. And so he comes back home and things aren't nearly as nice as he thought they'd be. Hey, Pa, you glad to see me? And Pa is not glad to see him. Couldn't care less. But I get into some cool dappled forest effects. And I like dappled forest effects. It's one of my favorite pages. That I like cardinals and that's Brother George telling him, "You better get the heck out of here, boy. Feds are after you." So he gets the heck out of there. And bye bye. And that's where where he becomes a lumberjack. Because it's a good place to hide out in. He comes back after the war. Ain't nobody there. And we go back to the present time, which in the present time is 1914. It's about 100 years ago, right before the First World War. And Blue Boy's got his own problems. Of course, one of them is that every time he turns around, flowers come out of the sky, fall out of the sky, and bury him in a heap of flowers, roses usually, red roses. And he makes the maybe it's a little bit of a mistake, who knows, of giving a flower to Maggie. Oh, Maggie likes that. Rest of the cousins don't. So he gets rescued by his big brother, who's not big, but it's his big brother. Oh, Blue Boy's 6'8", 12 years old. He's not a giant. He hasn't got giantism. He's just a big kid. And I remember that from having a brother who turned out to be 6'7", and around that age, he's a big kid. Always bigger than me. And then a little more of the tale of Grandpa and all those wives that left him. But he thinks he may have found himself one. And he tells the tale of losing Ellen, his wife, and then finding this woman crying in the corner of a square dance. And she tells how she became a widow. And this is Grandpa's courting scheme, which not too many people think highly of. These are some of my favorite pages. Boopy doop, boop, boop, boop. Yep. Developing plot and subplots, backstories that fuel the story later on. Of course, all that really matters to the widow is what kind of food do you people eat? And this is the kind of food they eat. And the important thing is they have some. They have to go to work. And that's the way it is. No matter what happens, you have to go back to work. Even with the life the way it is now, sooner or later we're going to have to go back to work. So they go back to work and they're cutting down trees. And it's mostly, as I suspected, having done my research and actually having family members who's actually in this industry, most of that, a lot of that was for paper, for international paper uh, corporation, which has plants all over the country. Where their main plant was in Camden, Arkansas, which is right out. This is right outside that city, but it's not there anymore. It was when I was a kid. We used to drive past it. Stink was horrible. That's where a lot of this lumber in the the South actually goes to, the making of paper. And then there's a ruckus, and I won't tell you too much about it. You got to go find out yourself. And there's, if you ever follow this, you've seen those drawings. There's Blue Boy saying, "What? What? What?" And this is around the time I think I started using a watercolor grain in my on my pages, which I'll do with all the other pages eventually. A lot of little reformatting has to be done before I go to print. And Blue Boy's upset. He's upset. Wouldn't be upset. He's 12 years old. We'll find out why he's upset. One of the things that I've been careful about is when I'm coloring these things to not get crazy about the saturation of color. Use too much saturation, too much high, too key the color too high, and the ink sits on top of the page when it prints, and pages stick together. And so you got to be watching real careful about that. And so you can do this in Photoshop where you limit the amount of ink that can be actually used on a page, which I was already doing because I don't add black to any of my colors. I try to avoid black in any of the pure colors. Use black for black and don't use it for anything else because it's not necessary. You can get the darkest grays and all types of stuff just from using pure color. Just mix the primaries together. For some reason on last time I did this, this must be a big page, file size. I have to check that out. And here, this one, next one, that's another one of my favorite pages. And this is the current chapter I'm working on. The widow kills a chicken or two. And we're introduced to exactly how ticked off Ma can get. And conflict occurs. Conflict, I say. Conflict. And little interactions between two loving brothers. And then the family feast. And they go out to the barn and talk it over. Brothers do. And we go to the next page, I think. Come on, let's go to the next page. Next page. Well, huh. Oh, that's strange. He must have gotten up to go do something. Yeah, that's what it was. I must have gone up to do something since I was recording all this. Hard to go through and find all the places you did that and then edit them out. Anyway, Grandpa goes and gets himself married. Now we're up to page 100. So we're up to page 108. So I'll show those pages in a couple of seconds. Where am I? Okay. Okay, now we're finished with that. And then I can start sharing. I think I'll just share this application window. Here's page 104, which I uploaded this last night. And there's page 10. That's not page 105. I think that's page 10. Oh, that's not page. Why didn't I do these right? There, that's page 105. 105. Then 106. Then 107. Then, nope, nope, nope. Where am I? Dadgummit. There it is. There's 108. Anyway, so now I'll stop doing that. And then I'll share this window. And I'll start showing that, which is working out the use of word balloons and such, and writing and rewriting and redrawing that I worked on over the weekend. And if you're Ever wondering how you do word balloons on the fly? This is how you do word balloons on the fly. Put a discrete layer for the word balloon, and then you make it out of ellipses, and you gang the ellipses up together on top of each other, and then you use that little thing right there, the second pointer tool, to select them all, and then use the Pathfinder shape merge tool, and they merge and they become a word balloon that is not just your cookie cutter round ellipse, which you see a lot in comics. You see them just doing these round ellipses, and they put the dialogue in there, the word balloon, ball words, and everything. And I just think it looks more organic to put them together. Now, once you get the words in there, they may not fit into the word balloon, so you can go back to that layer and start placing them into the that word balloon space till your words are not crowded by the word balloon. You can see the whole thing and it's readable. Then you just go back and select them again and do the Pathfinder, and you pretty much have it. And you have to make sure you have. I put a 3-point stroke around all the word balloons so you can actually see them. Might as well increase the size of this thing so I can see it. Yeah. So now you just try to get it where it's readable. That's all you're trying to do. And of course, it gives you a little bit of problem all the time. And nope, somebody screwed that up a couple of times. Yeah, you have to choose how many sides there are on a polygon. Then you can get your pointer, and then you have to also make sure it has the right color and the right stroke. And then you have to turn it so it's turned the correct way. And then shape it with the right scale and the length and width. And then you drag it over there. Then you take that second pointer, and I did it in the wrong one. I did it on the wrong layer, so I have to cut it, bring it back over there, paste it in place. I don't know if I paste it in place. Yeah, I do paste it in place. Then I do that again, and then I have it. Yeah, you got a word balloon. It actually works. Then I lock all that stuff, start over again, do the panel 2 balloon. I do all the balloons in the same layer because if you did a balloon layer for every balloon you did in every panel, you drive yourself nuts. So every panel has only one balloon layer. Somewhere along the way, I must have had a bandwidth problem because I'm getting a little bit of a uh, problem with the resolution. Probably go away in a few minutes. So as you can tell, this is not an urban setting. There won't be any superheroes flying out of the sky and grabbing onto people. It's the way it is. Yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you put those shapes together. And I don't know why, but sometimes the type, the fonts give me problems. They won't display. Thank God. I'm glad it didn't happen that time. So, so this guy reminds me of Mr. Green Jeans. Looks a lot like him. Except Mr. Green Jeans didn't have a still. This is before Prohibition, so people still did their own whiskey. Bodie dody do. Been wanting that pig of yours since the county fair. It's my point of view that the presence or absence of superpowered villains in a story are neither here nor there because the whole point is conflict between characters and resolution. So you don't need superpowered villains getting in there. Doctor Doom is not necessary. Do do do. La 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 la. What you have to have is conflict between good and evil. Comes in every story eventually, or you just have people just going about their lives. But in drama, real drama, you know, there's conflict between those who think they're doing good and those who are actually doing good. Everybody, even when they're doing evil, think they're doing good, even if it's good for me. They may have the perception that whatever is good for me is good, which is must be the point of view of most people who do evil. Is okay? It doesn't matter what I do as long as it's good for me. It doesn't work out too well, I don't think. Most people are going to disagree with you over that. That some people are going to put you away for a long stretch in the pen if you get a little too far afield from the way most people think. That's the way it seems. Anyway, Oh, well, that's just my way of looking at it. So, see, I did a field layer, and then I do a field text layer. And of course, you have to may have to resize the whole thing because there's no way to real tell. Yeah, I do the field first, just simply so I can read the text when I'm typing it out. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see nothing. There's our good friend Lorem Ipsum, Cyrus Wells, Cyrus pulls out a flask. I'm not sure that's how it of whiskey. Okay, and you bring it over there. I'm not sure I stayed with the whole thing. It may be a little too wordy. One of the things I'm doing here is because this is starting out as a web comic. It has to be readable on a smartphone. And if your text is too small, you can't read it on a text on a phone. And so I have had to do some tap dancing to make sure that yeah, yeah, I think I got there. I had to do a tap dance in how I write this thing, how I put in the narrative, the dialogue in the comic, because if I make it too small, put all the words I want to in it, you get up on the phone and say, I can't read this, and then you go away. Whereas if you have normal eyesight on a smartphone, you look at my stuff and you can actually see the sucker. Uh, I have a feeling that I said, I know what I do here. Yeah, I know what I do here. I have Paul Brown say something instead of Cyrus. Yeah, see, sometimes you you tap on the old you tap on the text thing and you get this junk. I don't understand that. I haven't figured that one out. I should probably go onto the Adobe discussion group and ask why you get these dicky things instead of our good friend Laura Gibson. But boy, I had to do some editing here. And I gotta resize that panel, that word balloon, which I'll have to probably put some more ellipses in there. No way I'm able to fit all that in there. What do you do? Ah. Wonder if I said anything interesting while I was doing this. Doesn't appear I did. Huh. Well, tomorrow morning I'll have another longer program because I don't have to. I don't have to teach uh, tomorrow because we got a week off before the start of the new semester, which was delayed to September 1st because of this dead burn virus. And nobody likes that. Do, 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 do. I wonder how long this virus is going to last. Boy. Oh, I see. So I was able to fit all that in. I think I have to up there and that butt. I'm gonna have to stick another. Yeah, I'll have to stick another one in there. You just do it up there, so just so you can see. Okay, I can see that whole thing, and then I merge them together, and now I got myself a halfway decent looking uh, word balloon with words in it. And it didn't hide old Cyrus's hat too much. I got to figure out a way to set the settings up when I'm just recording something on StreamYard so I get high quality um, recordings. Because I could wish for a little bit better resolution here. It's supposed to be a decent setting. Broadcast quality, high definition. I want better than that. Huh. Huh. They tell you they'll send 720 to everybody, but 720p. Um, hmm. Doesn't look like 720 to me. I'll just figure that out. Other way to do that would be just to capture it in QuickTime on your own computer, but I've had trouble with QuickTime. QuickTime's weird. You'll be doing a screen recording, and all of a sudden you'll look at it, so it stopped, which tick you off big time. And let me pull out something that's aged a few weeks. No to do. See, it's 14, 41. Oh, yeah, that's about right. About 3 hours. This is about a 3 hour show today. Go to about 1 o'clock. Then I have to mail something off, which I should put the address onto the envelope right now. Do 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 do. Okay. Da, 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 do, da, do, da, do, da, do. Okay, there it is. Just looking for that address that I have to send it out to. Part of pen. Huh. Do 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 do. Okay, got it. Okay. So and we got so let me pull out something that's aged a few weeks. This is before prohibition. You could make your own booze, and people did, which is what led to prohibition. Probably women were saying, "I got my old man's drunk all the time. I'm getting tired of it," which is actually historically correct. People would get stinking drunk at these little get-togethers after church on Sunday. People would get together in a little meeting and put a jug in the middle, and before you knew it, everybody was rolling on the ground, snot slinging drunk. And of course, that might cause a little bit of problems at home. Oh, well. I was never much of a drinker. I, I was, at least I was a happy drunk. Whenever and I haven't really had tied one on since I was in college. Gee, yeah, so I was in college last time. I think I was bleary eyed. Doesn't appeal to me too much. Though a fine wine is a good thing to have. Uh, in moderation. Though it usually makes me say stupid things. And my wife, when we get home, my wife goes, "Do you realize what you were talking about?" What? I didn't realize that. Well, so so the Dickerin begins with the chew, which is not unusual in those times. People chewed tobacco. So if you're gonna do a real piece of fiction that actually is about people who actually lived during that time, you gotta show it accurately. Yeah, show okay, people chewed tobacco, they drank whiskey, did all types of stuff. It's not a reflection of the 21st century by any means. It's really quite a different culture than what we're used to. Though I suppose there are places in the country where those the old traditional way of doing things is still going on. But I do believe that the modern world has creeped into everything. You're not going to find too many places that isn't modernized. You're not going to find a. Reminds me of a episode of Lois and Clark where Clark takes Lois to Kansas to meet his parents, and there she's trying, and Lois is trying to explain electronics, so a fax machine, anything like that, and of course, Ma and Pa can't to say, "Oh, you mean a fax machine? Oh, we could do with that one back here." This is the early '90s. Fax machines were a big deal back then. I don't know anybody uses fax machines anymore. Those there are some. They're a little passe, but everybody's got phones. Everybody's got phones. I remember those phones in Lois and Clark. They were big, as big as your arm. Huge things. Their first cell phones looked like walkie talkies. And the way remember how they cell phones got really, really, really tiny, and now they're getting really, really, really big. They're going back up because you want to be able to. They're basically mini computers now. Your cell phone, as it stands right now, is more powerful than the computer that sent men to the moon. Okay. Well, soon, I'll probably be doing a Kickstarter campaign. I keep talking about it, but I will get to it. It's just there's so many things going on. I only have 1 week off before I have to start teaching again, which won't be a big deal. First month of teaching, it's only a couple hours in the afternoon, and I'm not returning to face to face at least until um, well, the CDC guidelines have to uh, the CDC guidelines have to be revised before I go back to face. I can't imagine them being revised before January or having students go back to face before the uh, before January if you started off uh, this way. This is the craziest thing ever happened. Everybody's just um, doing this whole thing about the seat of your pants. Nobody's ever had to do this before, not for 100 years. We had to do this kind of junk 100 years ago when the Spanish flu was around, but it hadn't been around for a while. This kind of stuff hadn't been around for a long time. Nobody's used to it. They just sometimes all you have to do is, I think I may have to stick an ellipse right next to the word blue. Maybe I won't. Yeah, I don't think I have to. Let me see if I did that right. And I did. Oh, can you believe such a thing? Now I have to put in a couple of uh, third and fourth panels need something. There's a portion in the latter part of this where I redraw a great deal. Once you get in here into Illustrator, you look at it, you go, there's something missing. And so it's not unusual for me to go into into Photoshop again, and one of the cool parts of this is that you can draw in Photoshop. Once you save it, it'll update in Illustrator. I love Creative Cloud, but Creative Cloud is so much fun. I used to have to pay for Creative Cloud. I'd pay the teacher. Um, I'd pay the teacher a fee for it, which is only like $20 a month. But uh, I eventually got it for free because my college uh, gives it as a perk to teachers so they can do all types of stuff with it. And I do some stuff for the school with this stuff also. Okay, the bargaining drags on. I'm going to figure out a way to get the resolution of these MP4s a little bit higher. Drag. You don't want it there. Nope. No, you don't hide the. You don't want it there either. Nope. 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 Okay. This page 105. I get up to page 108 by the end of this, which means I'm gonna start putting up 5 pages a week. I started out putting up 3 pages a week, but I'm so far ahead right now that I might as well start putting up 5 pages a week. If I can put up 5 pages a week, then I've got 2 months to go before I finish this whole thing up, and then I'm over. Then the whole thing's finished. And this is the fun part of it. This is really the fun part of the book, where the book starts to really ramp up whatever drama I have in it. That's page 103. But what I do is I go into previous pages where I've got my copyright notice that I put at the bottom of every page. I just copy that thing, go back in here, create a copyright layer, and then I paste in place. And I'll have to change my the size of my my fonts, because if you do, um, this is like 24 points, and the regular fonts are 34 points, and I don't have to go back and do those all the time. A lot easier just to take something you've already got and do that. Now we're going to go on to page 107. I don't think that's it. Yeah, it is. That's 107. And another reflection of seeking to make the story reflect the culture as it was, as it was not unusual back then for a boy of 12 years old to receive a pistol as a birthday present from his father, which I can attest is not unusual. I owned a 22 rifle back then. The difference is that if I touched that 22 rifle without my father's supervision, I wouldn't be able to sit for a week. There was absolutely no messing around with guns without adult supervision. But that's the culture that is going on, and it's that's the way it is. If you want it to be a realistic culture, you're going to have whiskey, you're going to have guns. That's just the way it is, guys. You're going to have guns, you're going to have whiskey. I don't know of anybody. I can't imagine. Eh, it's completely different. No, no, I changed it. It's changed from bargain to deal. I switched those two words. I don't want the same word used twice in the same page. So it's gonna, I think, I'm not sure. Did I? The bargaining goes on. Yeah, it is. You drive a hard deal. Yeah, that's the way I did. Anyway, so I did a lot of research and found, I think like a 1882 or 1883 version of the Colt 45 that became this boy's present. And back then, everybody owned guns. Yeah, they still do. I got more guns in this country you can shake a stick at. No, 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 no. I have to resize the balloon. See whether or not I have enough room to. Probably going to have to add a little bit of. Yeah, I'll have to add a. You have to make sure that when you're dragging text, if you don't drag it correctly, he'll change the point size of it because you can compress it and elongate it. So it's best to look over at at the size of the font while you're doing this. Make sure that it's not being distorted. Kind of reminds me this whole thing with the guns and everything. Kind of reminds me. Uh, I was watching a BBC period piece from the '60s. Some kind of it's a detective series and everything. Everybody's smoking. Everyone. Everyone is smoking cigarettes. Right and left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Boom, 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 boom. And of course, now smoking is sort of like who smokes? I haven't smoked in close to 30 years. But everybody in the '60s was smoking. I remember it. Everybody was smoking. Even when the Surgeon General's report came out, people didn't stop. And even though you look at the actors smoking in these things, you realize, guys, even though this is historically accurate, you're smoking now. You're smoking now. You got that crap going in your lungs right now. Is it worth it? I hope they're paying you a lot because they may have to pay for your oncologist. So, do. So there we go. And now the second panel hasn't got any dialogue or word balloons or anything in it. It's just that thing alone, which was for me kind of important that it not be crowded. You just looked at it. Okay, it's a gun. Under the supervision of a father, which is the way it's supposed to be. It's a totally different culture now. We're much more an urban culture. And even I suppose lots of people have guns. I don't know about it. Uh, I know people who have guns, but you know, something I had to actually do research on. Okay. Later on in the book, Paul gives his kids, his boys, a lecture on handguns. Okay, see if I can get the lipsum orums, lorem ipsum, to show up. Now you'll notice that the colors that I'm using are not oversaturated. When I mess around with colors in Photoshop, and even here in Illustrator, when I'm doing the colors for these text fields, I make sure that it doesn't go over a certain percentage. When you do a drop down menu for these colors in CMYK, they'll tell you what the percentage of each color is used for that particular color you're trying to do. You don't want to use too high a percentage on any color, because if you use too much ink on a page in a printing press, the color will lay on top of the paper and it won't dry. And then when the paper is laid together, the paper will stick to the ink, and you'll have all types of a mess. So you have to be real careful when you're doing coloring for this, that you set a certain limit, which you can do in Photoshop. And maybe I'll do that right at the end of the show today. I'll go into Photoshop and show you exactly how that's done, where you limit the amount of ink that is used to color your work. And by doing that, you make sure that you don't have those kind of technical problems, which are part of physical printing, that you don't want the ink to be too thick. And you do that by making sure that you don't, there's a certain percentage that you don't want to go above. Like, you don't want it to have like 90% yellow, 90% 90% cyan, 90% magenta, and then 60% or 70% black. You're going to get some really thick ink on the paper, and it's not gonna dry in time for the paper to prevent the paper from sticking together when they're laying flat after the printing press delivers them into the whatever their holder is to. You're gonna have major problems. They all stick together, and you've ruined your print run, and you have to pay for it. Yeah, it's not their fault that you screwed it up. It's something you have to not only pay attention to in Photoshop and Illustrator, but you should also talk to your printer and say, what is the uh, guidelines you have for your printing press so that I don't go over that when I'm coloring. And I put mine that you never have over 280% for any of these the three colors. You never 100% you want to have for black because you want black to be black. But I'll do a cyan, magenta, and yellow where it's 30% cyan, 25% magenta, and 40% uh, cyan, magenta, and yellow, and 40, 25, 40, 29, 65, and 35. That's about 90%. 90%, and there's no black in it, you're not going to have any problems. And it works out. All you're trying to do with color is to create space. I think that did that on the wrong. Yeah, I did that on the wrong level. Yep, I want to do it on the correct level. Okay, correct layer, and at least it's my way of doing things that I want that word balloon to be as small as possible. Don't want it to be crowding out the drawing. Okay, I should have I thought I had. Uh, let me see. There it is. See if I can do that correctly. And then I put that rectangular shape in there and blend that together. And that's that old classic way of blending two word balloons together. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Hot dog. So, right now, okay. There's a little lady coming back from the dog walk. Yes, sweetheart. Okay, I put myself on mute while I ran a few little errands of mercy for my wife, who just came in from the heat and humidity. Laura is passing by us. Fortunately, it's south of Cuba, and it's not that strong a storm right now. You don't want anybody getting hurt by a storm. So it's not too bad there, and it's going to hit. It's probably going to hit Texas because it's got 2 or 3 days before it merges. It depends on when it um, turns. These things always depend upon where it turns. And we lucked out this time when this thing was first predicted to go straight through South Florida, and I wasn't looking too forward to that. But it was like 5 days out. I said, no way that a prediction 5 days out is going to actually hit us. Those 5 day out things never work. They always change. I prefer these things stay away from us right now. I'm not interested. I had roof work done on my roof recently, and I still got tiles up there. Gotta come tomorrow and put them back on. So at least until tomorrow, leave me alone. I'm looking at the hurricane app right now. Stop it. Okay. Tropical storm Laura, which looks like it's going to hit, if it was correct, and these things never are, not at this stage. It looks like it would hit the border between Louisiana and Texas. But these things it depends on when it turns. Has everything to do with when it turns. The models show it going straight, right, directly into the border between Louisiana and Texas, but it's too far out to take that seriously. And yeah, all the lousy weather's to the south. It's usually to the north and the west. I mean, the north and east. But this time it appears that the mountains in Cuba are protecting us from this storm. Oh, well, thank you, Cuba. And Marco has been downgraded to a low pressure system. It's 50-mile-an-hour winds. That's no big deal. But it looks like it's going to go straight through New Orleans. That's not a big deal. Tropics watch, nothing going on right now. Good. I'm tired of storms. I lived through Katrina, Wilma, Irma, Andrew. I lived through Andrew. I hadn't had a. It was the first hurricane I went through since I was a little kid. Back in the early '60s, I went through a mild hurricane living in Mississippi. I think it's one of the reasons why my parents said, "Let's get the heck out of here." Can't take it anymore. Back to where they just have tornadoes. Worst part about hurricanes is 3 weeks of no electricity. Doesn't matter what's going on. If your electricity goes out, get used to 3 weeks without electricity. I swear I'm going to get myself one of those standalone generators that when this thing happens, we get electricity from natural gas or propane or something like that. Tired of it. I don't ever want to go through that again. Okay. Okay, we're on page 106. Got 2 pages after this. Woo! This calls for a drink. I'm gonna have to find a way to perfect QuickTime doing this, because if you do this in QuickTime, you can get a really, really high quality MP4. StreamYard ought to be doing a little bit better than this. Do 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 do. So we're getting to the point. I think pretty soon we'll be okay. Now we can go on to the next page. I think. What do you think? We'll do some redrawing on this page later. Oh, this is page 106. Okay, there we go. Now that's page 105. Maybe I was going down there and trying to get, oh, that's what I'm doing. I'm probably going to get the copyright information. Yeah, that's what I'm going after. When I go to print, I got to get rid of all these copyright notices. Can't have that at the bottom of every page. There'll be a lot of work to do. Probably export the entire book as a print-ready PDF. But I think you do this, every page has to be a print-ready PDF. That's going to be a lot of fun. It's only 148 pages. So, Do. It'd be nice if by December I had in my hot little hands a print version of this comic. And send it out for Christmas to all the supporters. Everybody supports me on Patreon already get one. And then we do that. And it's still 3-point, and we resize it. And that should do it. I think I wanted to make it a little. Maybe I did like that. I don't know. Oh, but I left it like that. Those two look like they had a snoot full. Okay. I'm looking at some instructions on how to do decent, OS Catalina. I've got OS Catalina. And so I'm gonna, next time I do this, I'm gonna use QuickTime. And get a real high quality 720 or and anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I think once again, no. Oh, I put ACK on the wrong layer. Yeah, that's what I did. And then I can put it on the correct layer. Well, I see the light coming at the end of the tunnel. I'm about to page 108, and this is only 148 pages, then I should be able to get this done lickety split. I'm up to page 114. So if I do 4 or 5 pages this week, then I'm up to about 120. Then I'm not that far away from having this whole thing finished. So if I'm at 3, 4, 5 weeks ahead, 3 weeks ahead uh, by the time I could have this thing done middle of September, and then just be tweaking it that last month and working on the Kickstarter campaign and getting the whole thing ready for my printer, which is in Illinois. It's a real good printer, and other people have used them and gotten really, really nice results. They're a good printer. For small print runs, they do it digitally, and for large print runs, they use a big litho press. And I've got sample books from them that they send you. And my plan is, even though it costs a little extra, I'll absorb the cost. I want a hard copy proof before I sign off for a large run. Even if it's only a digital proof, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to make sure everything's cool. However they're going to do it. And then set it up, and then that way I know everything's perfect. The colors work. The registration's not a big problem these days. It used to be a huge problem back in the old times. But even, let me see, I've got my old copy of Local Stories right here, and the registration is not horrible. There's one little thing in the raccoon's mask that's a little bit off. And yeah, it wasn't perfect by any means. On the back cover with John Wilkes Booth and Billy the Kid, it was way off. Way off. So this is what happens when you put it on a big newsprint press. Digital, the presses are much better now. Went through a long period of time in printing where the quality just went way down. Yeah. But now it's gone way up. Yeah. Let's see what. Well, I'm not going to have to worry about this for a little while. I have a few panels up in the 120s. I have a few panels that I had trouble with, and I just let them go. I have to draw those, but that's all I have to do until I get to the epilogue. The epilogue I haven't drawn yet because I wanted to make sure that as I write and rewrite that the epilogue wouldn't be completely different by the time I actually get around to doing it. And I was right, because I've gotten insights into the story that are different than when I started off, which is the way it usually happens. One does not end up with the story you start out with. Nobody does. I don't imagine anybody does. It's the same way when you draw. You have this idea in your head and everything like that. By the time you get finished, it's a completely different drawing. It's always been that way for me. And after this is one more page, and then I do some redrawing. It's not even noon. So I think I cured my rheumatism. I guess if I do this over and over and over again, this merging of ellipses to create a word balloon, everybody can catch on. I had to look it up. I had to do a little bit of research on how to do it, and now it's real natural for me. I had tried to make prefab word balloons on my own, and it just didn't work. It just didn't work because you'd have to go in and you have to go find the correct word balloon. You'd have to go all through this entire library and everything. Every time you did a word balloon, it's a whole lot quicker just to do it yourself. And go give me a black one, and then give me my 3 point. Okay, and I do that again, and it's like clockwork. Sometimes I mess up on it, but most of the times I don't. I guess I yeah, was did it down a little bit. Okay, did I resize that a tiny bit? Did I add a little bit of a ellipse to it? I don't know. I think I left it alone. Yeah, no reason to mess with it too much. When I first started this whole series of live streams, I was doing it on a 2009 MacBook Pro. Just did not have the graphics card to be able to output video to a live stream. So I got a really rapid slideshow most of the time. But I went and got myself another computer, thank God, which is a good thing because I'm going to be teaching online remotely all semester. So I need I needed another setup. That's the way it is. I didn't plan this pandemic, so you gotta adjust to it. Okay, and all this stuff was done with a big mechanical pencil. Every last bit of this, all this line work, that is not ink. That's a big mechanical pencil, which I absolutely love. I discovered the whole thing by accident. I'd I've been using pencils and stuff like that for a long time, but I before I started this project, I was in a ceramic studio, a friend of mine, and I asked her if hadn't brought a pencil with me and I wanted to do some sketches, and so I asked her if I could use this mechanical pencil I found, just a little cheap thing, and I started drawing with it. I said, "Man, this is nice lead. This is really nice." I said, "Can I have this?" She said, "Sure." Turned out to be a Bic mechanical pencil. I tried buying another brand and it was horrible, horrible, horrible stuff. Then I went and found the Bic at a CVS or a Walgreens or something like that. Oh, I got it in Office Depot. I think I found it in Office Max. They get these little bundles of two mechanical pencils and like a whole bunch of replacement uh, leads and then a bunch of erasers, and you can buy it for like $4. And I looked at the deal. It says leads made in France. I said, "Oh, that makes all the difference. Not made in China." The other one was made in China. Of course, they cut corners, and it wasn't nearly the kind of stuff you would get because the original graphite um, deposit that was found in the 15th or 16th century was in Europe, and so that's why this this French stuff was it's just like a regular 2B drawing pencil. Has absolutely the same qualities. It it you can do hatching and cross hatching and layering with it exactly the way you do a really decent pencil. And you don't need that great a pencil to come up with decent drawings, uh, unless you want really, really soft, you know, oh, don't do that. Really soft, 6B, which I don't use because smudges all over the place. I'm left-handed. I get it all over the place. So I just always use a 2B or an HB, and these are just absolutely gorgeous. Makes the most beautiful hard lines. You don't have to. Here's the deal: you don't have to sharpen them. I love it when you don't have to sharpen a pencil. All you have to do is to click, 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 or reload the leads. And you can reload like 5 at a time. Can't get any better than that. So now we have to save this. Go on to page 108. So now we open up page 108. At least I think we do. It's page 106. Oh, I see. I'm going to play around in Photoshop with this page. Somehow this is the time when I said, okay, I need to change this a bit. Now where I find it right there, no, not there. It's over there. You see that? So I start drawing on this thing. Then I save it on my computer because if I don't, it won't repopulate the image in Illustrator, which is the whole thing. Is what I want to do is I want to make changes in Photoshop, and then when I go back into Illustrator, I it just simply updates. I don't have to do anything. There's another great thing about Adobe Creative Cloud and the whole 9 yards. We're using this creative. There used to be a creative suite, but this they really done it up right. So I got a few things I need to do to make this a little more complex, a little more interesting. Play around some of the sloppiness of the shadows and some of the stuff. You can get a little too sloppy. So some of these, I'm going to have to do a little bit of erasing for some of these things. Just get rid of some of these scratchy lines. I forgot to put any shadow in that area there, so I'll fix that. I think eventually what I do is I enlarge this because it's real difficult to get precise when the images on the screen are that small. So the lovebirds are back there, and they're snot slinging drunk. And so I decided all this was a little too busy and didn't have the proper weight to really define that area very well. I did a lot of erasing. Another wonderful thing about digital work is that you can just erase. All you have to do is have a layer of white underneath so that you don't show your template underneath, which I have a template underneath that enables me to do the correct size of the page. So I'm trying to pare down those lines. They're not so heavy. And make sure the eyes and stuff like that, the eyebrows, are dark enough, heavy enough. Okie doke. Yeah, poor guy needs some buttons. Well, it's interesting that in this, in Photoshop, if you play around with it and search for it, it's not that difficult to find a watercolor brush that can match up with these pencil lines. Have to be real careful though. Yeah, I was a little sloppy with some of the skin tones. I want to kind of clear that up a little bit. And I use that little smudge tool to kind of even things up. No places like that. I'm using the. I want to use the smudge instead of the eraser because I'm just doing this on the color layer. Just so they looks a little more natural. And when you're working up the originals on bristlepboard with a mechanical pencil, there's nothing you can do about the fact that they look great on the page, but the light of a scanner is going to cause all those colors, all those lines to become a medium gray, about a 50% gray. But that can be dealt with in Photoshop just by adjusting levels. It's not too difficult to do, but you have to go in and play around with it. And one of the, well, it's probably a good thing because that way you get different. Ooh, what was that? Uh, you have different line strengths by doing that. Ooh. And I'm messing around with the background a little bit. I think I do. Yeah, not sure I should have, but I did. Hmm. And mess around over here a little bit. Yeah, I wanted to kind of extend the handle of that gun. and then play around with just some of the drawing to make some lines more accentuated so they actually work in space better. And going back to the next panel. Yeah, I wanted to put the shadow in that hat. Okay, did that. Do 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 do. That's something I worked a lot on when I was doing talio printmaking is line weight to create a sense of where in space that object exists. No, I didn't want to. I didn't. I was going to just. Uh, of course, if I had brought the this down here, I would have gotten a real dark black. But I didn't think of that last night. Oh well, no harm done. I think I enlarged. Yeah, I had to enlarge it so I could see that line. Once you enlarge it, it's not difficult to do, but the real tiny little line, it sometimes throws me. I would throw anybody else, but sure did throw me. Hopefully, I fixed Pa's mustache. I did, dang. Fix Paul's mustache. What's this? Yeah, it'll be fine. Ah, booby dooby doop. And sometimes you have to clean up a little here and there. I think I'm using the smudge tool. Yeah, it only works when you got on the color layer for this one. And well, that doesn't work. I'm going to erase that whole dang thing. Unfortunately, undo's work. That didn't work. Okie dokie. Play around that edge a little bit. Let me see, what do I do to Paw's face? I don't remember. I think I did a little bit there. Yeah, a little bit. Darkened his eyebrows. Played around with just real slightly played around with his eyes. Not much. He says I remember it. Ooh doo 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 doo. Huh. Huh. I'm kind of liking this drawing. Okay, I mess around with. Okay, I have to mess around with Grandpa and the tilt, foreshortened tilt of Blue Boy's face, which I don't think I really changed the drawing or anything. Like changed the modeling. I do that a little bit with Grandpa too. Some of the shading and the stuff like that have to change a little bit. It's a little too sloppy. Nice that Grandpa's got all his teeth. Doesn't happen too often. Yeah, yeah. Looks more like a stain than just a variation. So best to get rid of that. So I got. Oh yeah. I'm gonna see. Do I have that? Yeah, I have Photoshop open. Yeah, I can do that little demo later. Doodly doodly. I know I accentuated Pa's hair down there. It's a little too mottled. Needs to be a little bit darkened. And okay, I clean this up. I'm gonna play around with this. Do I have a watercolor? I don't have a watercolor layer on this thing. I'm gonna fix that one. I'm not sure I did, but if I didn't, I will. Back a second. So I had to do that eye again. I don't know why, but I did. It just didn't look right to me. So I have to redraw it several times. So I was doing this about 6:43 last night. So I remember it. Then I had to go walk the dog. So this doesn't last more than another 20 minutes, I think. Look. Yeah, 25 minutes. And I went and walked the dog. Strangely enough, he wanted to walk. Usually at night, he's not crazy about walking. It wasn't that late, though. Okay, now this is what I did. Yeah. I'd used the lasso tool. And I enlarged it. I mess with it. Eventually figured out, oh, if you hit Command D, it'll deselect that. Yeah. Ooh, okay. And then I think I enlarged it, and then I trimmed some of those lines that I thought were a little too heavy. Okie dokie. That's looking okay. I think. I whitened his teeth. That's a good thing to do. Yeah, whiten his teeth. Not much. I don't know if I'll whiten the white of his eyes. I mean the white of his eyes. Let me see if I did. I didn't mess with it, did I? Sloppy Dave. Okay. Okay, see, now you do this and it updates everything. Go back to Illustrator and it's updated everything. I think at this point I start outputting to export for screens. That's what you do when you want to put it on the, oh, I have to go do this. Yeah. This is page 108, which I hadn't gotten around to. So, I do this in real, yeah, this doesn't take long because there's not much in the way of word balloons and text and everything like that. I have not figured out how to get the default font to be web letter. It's always Myriad Pro. I'll figure that out someday. Maybe somebody will put that in the comment section. This is how you do it. Probably in the preferences it has that. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. Okay. Booty doody doo. We better get these two sobered up. It's 12:47, sweetie. 47. 37. Not sure. Let me see if I resize that word balloon a tiny bit. I may have. I don't know. Yeah. See. Nope, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. I added some. Oh, I know what I did is I did another word balloon. Yeah, because there's another statement he's making. It's why they have to get these two sobered up. Maybe where I make an observation. Let me see. I think this happens a couple of times. Okay. Use the car. do. Okay. Okay, your boss sees them this way. I'll never hear the end of it. Do. Yeah, stick another one in there. Yep. Okay. I must have thought nobody was going to hear me when I coughed like that. Oh, well. Don't worry, called me a pro. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, I got that. Okay. The head, not in the original, I said the mercantile, but no, we have them go to the Peabody Cafe. I got to figure out how to fit it in there. I might as well deaden the audio on that recording. I don't think I say anything that's worth listening to. So this Kickstarter campaign I'm planning, I start out with kind of a modest goal to produce a 28 or 32 page comic book, which would be about the first two chapters. And if the as the campaign progresses, if it gets better and better, if my support gets larger and larger, then I add more and more pages of the actual final book to the comic. And if we get, if we do phenomenally well, which is always a possibility, I guess, then I just do the whole entire graphic novel, which is be 152 pages with covers. See see if that's possible. We'll see. Yeah, I just got one more word balloon to do. And then I'll go through this thing about ink coverage in Photoshop and how to make sure that you never have so much ink on the page that the pages stick together. Which is something you have to think about when you're producing an actual physical comic book. I doubt most people ever had that problem, but but they wouldn't mention it in uh, in the specs for comic book printing. If it wasn't a problem at one time or another, people made boo-boos like that. They get overzealous about color. That's why I've always my thing about coloring comics is that the color never overpowers actual um, the actual drawing. I don't know if we'll see. It was ACK. I did a larger, another page. Yep. Yeah, I'm almost there. I get rid of this Spalachi. Let me see. I got 6 minutes to go. What am I doing? Oh, in 6 minutes, I'm doing the output. Well, I might skip that out. That's what's I going to tell you. I do the first one. I do all of them. Okay, now we have the whole page done. Yep, I think I'll leave it like this. Okay, now I save it, and then I might just go back to 104 and I'll put that. But I might do it this one. I think I do this one, and then there's no reason to show all of them. Okay, export for screens. Then you export the ones you want. I do two versions, one a 24-bit, one an 8-bit. Actually, the 8-bit usually turns out to be the best one. It's smaller. That's the way it looks. So there's another 4 minutes of me doing this. There's no reason to show it. I'm going to stop that. Stop that screen. Stop this right there. And then open up Photoshop. Where are you, boy? There you are. I thought I had Photoshop open. So, where's the thing I just did? Or something I just did. Where is it? Oh, well. I'll just go to this one. There we have it. Okay. Now, take a look at any one of these colors like this. And always somehow a little bit of K creeps in, but 61, 22, 76, that's 137, it's 159, way below 159. So you want 159%. That's way below any problem you might have. So here in color settings, you look at custom YCK. This is what I do. Total ink limit, 280%. Black ink limit is 100% because that's black, But 280%, you never want to go over that. And that's because you don't want the ink to stick together. I only had like 90 something, 90, what was it? For that color, it was 130, 159%. It's a whole lot less than 280%. And so I don't have to worry about this page ever going over the limit and having the ink lay on top of the paper and stick together. Something you have to really worry about when you're going outputting to print. So, well, that's what I wanted to say. And so I will be back tomorrow with another. A lot. I usually have a short. I just stop this screen. I usually have short days on Tuesday and Thursday, but tomorrow I'll have a longer day because I'm not teaching this week because we're in the hiatus between semesters. So we'll get more done tomorrow. And maybe, let me see, we're up on page 108. Tomorrow I'm going to do page 115. So maybe 115, 116. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, and maybe really get up there. Finished off the Widow Kills Chicken or Two chapter. Get on to some melodrama. Okay. So let me see. Do I have my no, I don't. Well, I'm going to try and I'm going to see if I can find it. Come on. Preview. Be a bad boy. Like to end the whole thing the way it should. And I don't have it. Okay. Then I'm stuck. Okay. That's the way it is. I will be back tomorrow. I'll see you then. Oh, hey, you see that down here? think seriously about going and read the comic book. You know, do a lot of stuff here, and you should read the comic book. Uh, I'm proud of this story. Thank you. Bye bye.